Chapter 21. Exaggeration at the graves of the righteous turns them into idols for worship besides Allah. Malik records in Al-Mawta that Allah's Messenger ﷺ said, O Allah, do not let my grave become an idol that is worshipped. Allah's wrath is intensified upon people taking their Prophet's grave as masjids. From Ibn Jarir with a chain to Sufyan, from Mansur from Mujahid. Have you seen Lat and Uzza? Surah An-Najm, chapter 53. He said he used to prepare siwak for them. Then he died, so they devoted their time by his grave. And Abu al-Jawza said, similarly from Ibn Abbas, he prepared siwak during Hajj. Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with them, said, Allah's Messenger ﷺ cursed the women visitors of the grave and those who take them as masjids and illuminate them, recorded by Sunan compilers. Important points. 1. The explanation of the meaning of word awthan, that is idols. Number 2. The explanation of the meaning of worship. Number 3. That he ﷺ was warning against what he feared would actually occur. 4. He coupled this with taking the Prophet's graves as masjids. 5. Mentioning the intensity of Allah's wrath. 6. Of the most important points is learning the origin of Lat's worship and that this was one of the most important idols. 7. Knowing that its origin is the grave of a righteous person. 8. That it is the name of a person in a grave and mentioning the origin of its name, that is Lata, to mix. 9. Cursing the women who visit graves. 10. Cursing those who illuminate them. Commentary by al-Sadi. What is said about the detriment of the one who worship Allah at someone's grave? So how about when he worships its inhabitant? What is said that exaggeration at the graves of the righteous turns them into idols for worship other than Allah. What the author means in these two chapters becomes clear with the details of what is done at the graves of the righteous and others. Such behavior falls into two categories, the allowed and the prohibited. The allowed is whatever is mentioned as lawful by the Sharia about visiting graves. This is governed by the rule that one does not take up traveling to do so, and that he is visiting the graves of Muslims who followed the Sunnah. So by his supplications for these people, his uncles, his relatives, and those whom he knew personally, he is doing some good for them, in particular by supplications that he seeks pardon for them, forgiveness and mercy. And he accomplishes good for himself by following the Sunnah and being reminded of the hereafter and contemplating such matters. The prohibited type consists of two categories. Number 1, the prohibited avenues that lead to shirk, like touching the grave and seeking a means to be closer to Allah because of the grave's inhabitant, performing salah at the grave, decorating it, and enshrining it with a structure, and any such exaggeration with it or its inhabitant that does not quite reach the level of worship. Number 2, major shirk, like supplicating to the inhabitants of the grave or seeking their help and making some request from them regarding their life or the hereafter. This is major shirk, and it is this that the worshippers of the idols do with their idols. There is no difference here whether the one who does that believes that those in the grave are able to bring about the outcome he seeks, or whether they are used as intermediaries with Allah. It was indeed the mushrikeen who said, "We do not worship them except to bring us nearer to Allah." Surah Az-Zumar, chapter 43, verse 3. And they say, "These people intercede for us with Allah." Surah Yunus, chapter 10, verse 18. Whoever claims that one has not committed kufr by calling upon the inhabitants of the grave unless and until he thinks that they control the benefit and can protect him from harm, and that a person has not committed kufr if he believes that Allah is the one who does this, but that the grave's inhabitants are simply a means between them and Allah, whom they call upon and seek from, then he has also committed kufr. He who makes such a claim has certainly lied against what comes in the book and the sunnah and what the ummah has agreed upon, which is that whoever calls on other than Allah, then he is a mushrik, disbeliever in either of the two cases mentioned, whether he believes that those called upon are in control or simply intermediaries. And this is well known by necessity in the religion of Islam. So it is necessary for you to recognize this categorization in order to discern the importance of this chapter, to see the harms and fitnas that result from this, and none is saved from its fitna except for the one who is aware of the truth and adheres to it.